So often when people find out I'm a money coach, I'm out and about at a networking event, whatever it may be, people want to talk to me about their pricing. So today I want to bring the pricing conversation to you.
What if the way you think about money is the exact thing keeping you from having more of it? Every thought you have about money is either expanding your capacity for wealth or capping it. And most of us are walking around with beliefs that are quietly sabotaging our success. I'm Jillian Minter, and welcome to Quantum Wealth, where we're blending manifestation and mindset with proven business strategy to help you break through income plateaus, dissolve subconscious blocks, and build a soul-aligned business that supports the lifestyle you actually want. If you're an entrepreneur who's tired of trading time for money and ready to quantum leap your income, you're in the right place. This is where woo meets business. Let's go.
Welcome to the Quantum Wealth Podcast. Today we are talking about something that is one of the most common questions that I get asked, which is about pricing. So often when people find out I'm a money coach, I'm out and about at a networking event, whatever it may be, people want to talk to me about their pricing, and that totally makes sense. So today I want to bring the pricing conversation to you. I want to talk about your pricing, how you're setting it, how to shift it, whether you feel good about it, whether you don't, and just get to the nitty-gritty of my thoughts on pricing and how you can feel more aligned in your pricing so that you can make the money that you desire. And the most common feeling that comes up when it comes to pricing is that entrepreneurs feel that their prices are too low. They also have a resistance to raising them. So that is my first question for you. Do you feel your prices are too low? And my next question is, if so, why haven't you raised them? Because this is actually a rhetorical question. This is the puzzle. It's not about knowing what to charge. You already know what to charge. And there may be a chance that you're not charging it. That has nothing to do with figuring out the number, with strategy, with competitive shopping. That is an issue of alignment. That is an issue of not feeling embodied in the price that you want to be charging. So today we are diving all into that. And I'm confident that by the end of this episode, you are going to know what you want to do about your pricing and feel that much more confident to actually do it. So to get us started, let's talk about why pricing is so important. Pricing is just not the number that you charge. It's not the invoice that you send. It's not the price on your sales page. It is a declaration of your value. It is what you believe your work is actually worth. It's saying to the world, this is the level that I'm at, this is the level that I operate at, and this is what I deserve for my work. And when you don't feel good about your pricing, whether it's too low, you're inconsistent with it, maybe it's higher than you would like, it creates this energy that people can feel. Your audience, your consumers, your customers, your potential clients, the people circling whether to buy from you or not, they feel that. And that's the most important reason that you need to feel good about your pricing, is because when you set your pricing, you have a certain energy around it, and you want that energy to be good. You want to be at a high frequency. You want to be attracting the clients that you want.
Just like anything, the energy around it is the most important thing. It's not actually the price itself, but the energy comes from the price. So we really need to nail down your pricing. Figuring out your pricing is not strategy. Sure, there's part of that. You may want to know what other people are charging, what your competitors are doing. Yes, that matters, and it's not the most important part because people will pay anything. I fully, truly believe that, and we have evidence of that. The most important part of pricing is feeling good about it in your body because that's what's going to sell it. This is why our pricing has to be aligned. When it comes to pricing, I see two different things. Prices are too high and prices are too low, obviously, right? And the pricing too high is not as common. Usually when someone's prices are too high for them and they're not feeling good about it, it's because they've recently raised it. They haven't sold at that rate. It's new and it's uncomfortable. But more often than not, what I see is that people's prices are lower than they want them to be. So either one of these things, you're out of alignment. And you're not going to show up and sell as confidently. You're not going to show up in your business. You are not going to be attracting the best clients that you could be. And here's the thing about the energy we put out there. The energy we put out there is attracting our clients. And our clients make up our business. We are in the business as entrepreneurs of making money, of selling. So having that energy exchange needs to feel good, or else your whole business is going to feel off. And you absolutely don't want that. So pricing too high is much simpler, but pricing too low is really the one that gets tricky and the one that people speak to me the most about, because when you price too low, you don't show up fully, you get resentful, you may not even want to sell your offers or services because you don't feel that the value exchange is even, which is why we really need pricing to be aligned and to find that sweet spot. So pricing more than anything is energetic. Just like in business, I say that business is 80% energy and 20% strategy. Pricing is the exact same way. Think of a business you love right now. I love to use the example of coffee because people pay crazy amounts for coffee. They buy coffee at the grocery store and can make a cup of coffee for a few cents. And also, they go to their local coffee shop, pay $6, $9, or you can go to the Four Seasons and get coffee room service for, I don't know, $35. There is a price point for everything. It just depends on your product. It depends what you're selling, and you can sell the same things if you package it differently at all different levels. So you need to ask yourself energetically, what is the price that you want? Because that is the bulk of it. And pricing has a lot of things that come up with it. Usually it's the stories we tell ourselves, it's these fears, it's these subconscious beliefs and patterns about what people will say, what people will think, what people will pay, what we're allowed to charge, whether we're going to lose people if we charge too much, whether people will think too little of us if we charge too little, whether we think we're worth it. That's the 80%. That is the complicated part of pricing. So the most important thing when it comes to pricing is pricing from your value, not from fear, not, oh, well, what if this happens? What if this person doesn't pay? What if? You can play the what if game as long as you want. And also, that really does not matter as much as you feeling good about your price, about your service, about the value exchange, about the energy exchange. Because it's not the money, it's the work that you're putting in and the work that you are getting back. You are going to show up differently if that energy exchange feels good. So for example, when people say, oh, I don't want to offer this service anymore, I just don't like it, and I get an inkling that it's really about price, I like to ask people, okay, if there's something that you're like, this just doesn't feel good in my business, is there a number that would make it feel good? Like if someone paid you $10,000, $50,000 for that thing, would you want to do it? Not just because, yes, there are many things that we would all do for $50,000 that we wouldn't do otherwise, but is there a number that would make it feel good? And if there is, that's the number that you determine as your price. Because pricing our value is pricing our identity. It's pricing what we feel about ourselves. It's pricing all the hours, all the work, all the study that we have put into what we offer our people, our customers, our clients, our audience. And the most common reason that people underprice, it's not that they don't understand the market, it is just conditioning. It's fear. They're just scared to charge the prices. They're telling themselves a story. What if no one pays this? What if I lose all my clients? All these worst case scenarios. And one of the biggest things I see with entrepreneurs is that they price with their own wallet. And this really happens when someone first becomes successful, when they're newer to business, when they're just starting to get success, when they're hitting that 6 figures. And they think, well, I wouldn't pay that, so why would someone else? They are shopping with their wallet for their client. But you are not your client. You probably wouldn't pay for your service as much as someone else does because you're an expert in the field. Or maybe you value it so much that you think that you would pay more than what other people would pay. But here is the God's honest truth. Whatever you decide your price is, there are people to pay it. There are people that pay $1 for coffee. There are people that pay $20 for coffee. There are the average of people in the middle that pay that $9 for a cup of coffee, $8, whatever it is. you need to stop determining your price based on what other people will pay, because there are other people who will pay regardless of the number that you choose. The number that you choose needs to feel good in your body. It needs to feel like, oh yes, this is the value I bring. That's the most important thing. And when you look at your price through the lens of what someone else would pay, you're telling yourself all these made up stories that genuinely don't matter, because you can make up all the stories, all the reasons why you could charge this, why you couldn't, why something's worth something, why something isn't. And also, pricing is different for everyone. When people buy something, they're showing you what they value. And what they value has nothing to do with your value. It's totally separate. There are people that would never spend money, regardless of how much money they had, on something that you may find the money for regardless. It may be something that you will always prioritize in your life. If you want to see what is important to someone, look at what they spend their money on. So I just want to remind you that you're not your clients. Stop shopping for them. Stop pricing for them. They get to decide if the price is worth it for them, and if they want to come along with you, if you are the right person for them, if you have the right service for them, if you have the right offer, product, whatever it is. Your client is not you. And regardless of what your price is, you will be able to sell it. One of my clients has the most fun little game that we kind of play, where she loves to find evidence of what people will pay, things that she would never pay for, things that she does not value. And she will send them to me and we will laugh, because it's crazy what people will pay for. And what she sends me, you may think it's totally worth it. For example, she sent me someone who just listens to people. Literally doesn't say a word, kind of like a coach or a therapist, but like no training, just a person who listens. And it's like $100 an hour. And there are people that pay that, where her and I were both like, we would never pay that. That's crazy to us. And also, there are people out there. She has a whole business around this. There's another business I know of, and she makes presentations for large companies, like PowerPoint presentations. And when I saw them, she charges like 10 grand a presentation. When I saw them, they're AI generated. Like, I genuinely can't believe that there are companies that pay her $10,000 for a PowerPoint that she made in 20 minutes on AI. But they exist. And I guarantee a company that's spending 10 grand on that presentation, the ROI is so much higher than that, that's still worth it for them. So if you're feeling like people won't pay a certain price for something, I just want you to take some evidence, go out there and find the thing that's crazy for you. It doesn't have to be the presentations. It doesn't have to be the person listening. It can be whatever you want, but use that as evidence. Show yourself what's possible, because people pay for what is important to them. Now that we've talked about shopping with other people's wallets, let's talk about the actual number, about the price, because there is no right number. There's just a number that feels safe to you, and we can change that number, because that number feels safe to you because of your programming in your subconscious mind, and you can change that. So this is always the first thing that I like to do when I look at pricing, is figure out the safe number and then go from there. And you can change your safe number, just like you can change any of your thoughts, any of your beliefs. You can grow and expand the number that feels safe for you. And that's the actual work. That's why working with a coach is so powerful. That's how I help my clients with their pricing. That's why I don't have to have expertise in every single type of business, because it's not about the kind of business and whether I know the market and all this, that, and that. It is about the energy. And I coach on energy, and pricing is energy. So if there's a number that feels good to you, my job as a coach is to find that and to pull that out of you. And you can absolutely do this without a coach. And also, if you want to do it quick and get to the root of it, coaching is always, always, always the fast track. So the other common limiting belief that I hear around pricing is like, well, it only takes me X amount of time, so I can't charge more. Or it takes me this amount of time and I need to charge by hourly. Here's what I want to offer to you as an entrepreneur, as someone who is ambitious, someone who's growing, someone who perfects their skills. You cannot price based on how long something takes you, because how long something takes you is a direct reflection of how much work you've put into it. For example, I want you to think about how long it took you to do the thing that you do now when you first started. Of course you're better at it now. Of course you're faster. And how did you get faster? Because you practiced a whole lot, because you got education, because you read the books, because you listened to the podcast, because you know more, because you have the experience. All of these things determine your value, which determines your price. So the more you invest in yourself and become better at your skills, you're going to be faster. You're going to be more efficient. And that's why trading time for money is not the way to quantum leap. Because if you set up your pricing based on the time it takes you, it's always going to limit you. I want to give the example of a copywriter I hired once. She's amazing. She's very good. She is on the high price point. I hired her to do some work for me. And while we were on Zoom and doing it together, she types, first of all, faster than anyone I've ever seen. She'd worked at like law clerks' offices, and she just has a very fast word per minute that most people don't. And also her brain works so fast that I genuinely was like, I cannot believe what she's charging for a page of copy now, knowing it takes her 5 minutes. And it takes her 5 minutes because she's, one, naturally very good at it. Two, she types so fast and gets shit done quickly. And then most importantly, she's done so much copywriting. She's so freaking good at it that it just comes to her and it's natural. I guarantee that what she does in like 10 minutes would take most copywriters 2 hours. And it would take me all day because I'm not a copywriter. But that's what you're paying for. You're paying for the quality. So here's my question to you as a business owner. When was the last time you invested in yourself? When you got better? And then did you raise your prices to reflect that? So let me give you an example of my own business. When I got my PCC, Professionally Certified Coach certification from the ICF, all of the money coaches I follow do not have that. I know there are some, so like don't come at me. Of course there are. And I mean, coaching is an unregulated industry. So first off, there are people who are not even certified. There are people who are certified in some certification that is not ICF accredited. There are very few people, percentage-wise, based on how many coaches there are out there, that do the work to get that certification because you don't need it. You absolutely don't. You can make a lot of money and be successful without the extra credits, courses, things that you need to take. And also, to me, that shows that I've put the time, energy, and countless hours. I've coached hundreds of hours to be able to get that certification. So absolutely, when I got that certification, I raised my prices. Currently, I just finished a course on ads. I wanted to get good at meta ads. I didn't want to hire it out because honestly, I talked to a few people who are specialists in ads and they were getting stumped at helping me. And I thought, these people's hourly, they're all $500 to $1,000 an hour, and they were stumped with my niche. So who better to learn my niche than me? Because it's going to save me thousands of dollars in the long run. And then a few weeks ago, one of my clients was asking about ads and I was able to coach her and help her. That's a skill set that I now have and bring to my business. So the better I get at something and the more I learn, I can give that back to my clients. That makes my value higher. That means that I can raise my prices. So did I raise my prices because I learned meta ads? No, I didn't. But it's the investment over time of like the more skills you get, the more you can raise your prices. So I want you to ask yourself that. Have you been investing in yourself, learning more, investing in your education, and do your prices reflect that? So let's talk about some signs that your pricing is out of alignment. The first one, so simple, so easy. Do you feel good about your prices? Whatever price we're talking about, I want you to feel that price in your body. Think about it, hold it, feel what it feels like when you say, my pricing for X service is X amount. Does it feel good to you? Do you feel confident? Do you feel light? Do you feel easy breezy, happy, excited to sell it? Or does it feel heavy? Does it feel limiting? Like, what do you feel about it? Not what you think, what do you feel? And a lot of times we have to get in our bodies for that, which again is something a coach can help you with. And also you can totally do it on your own by just closing your eyes and feeling what you feel. Do you feel good about your pricing? If you don't feel good about your pricing, we need to fix it. You either need to lower it or raise it or recalibrate yourself so that you feel good about your pricing. My recommendation, depending on where you're at, is to work on feeling good about your pricing. And also, I don't think it's bad to lower or to raise your pricing so that you feel good selling it and get good at that so that then you can adjust it. And of course, we don't want to keep lowering our prices if we're not feeling good about it, not feeling confident. That is a dangerous game to play because it's hard once we've gone down to go back up. But also, if it builds that confidence in us, if it shifts our energy, I think it can be really important and can really work. The other sign that your pricing is off is if you are discounting. And I don't mean discounting if someone asks you and you're like, oh, well, this is the price for that. But if you only can spend, I don't know, $1,000 instead of $2,000, this is what you would get for that. That is totally reasonable. I mean, when someone's even questioning your prices, are you getting a little uncomfy? Are you getting a little bit nervous? Are you giving a discount before someone even asks for it? Are you assuming that someone will not pay it? I saw a reel recently of Meryl Streep talking about The Devil Wears Prada, and it was so good. And what she said is they came to her with this script. She knew the movie was going to be huge. She knew her worth. She's in her 50s at this point. And they said, this is what we're going to give you for The Devil Wears Prada. And she just knew in her body that it wasn't enough. So she literally asked for double and they said, sure, like immediately, just like that. I want you to take that as evidence as it can be that simple. You just have to hold out for it. She only had to hold out and be uncomfortable asking for double the price for a few seconds before she got it. And that is possible for you too. So stop assuming that someone's not going to pay it. Stop preemptively discounting your value and your work. And the other sign that your pricing is not aligned is that you are backpedaling. You raise your prices and then you backpedal because you get pushback, because someone notices you raised your prices, because you feel uncomfortable with it. And instead of holding it and growing into that new price, because it's something that we have to do, get comfortable with it. I like to work on that before I raise my price, but people do it the other way around, and that's totally fine if that works for you. But we need to hold that pricing. You need to challenge yourself to actually charge it without dipping back down. Because every time you dip down and give someone a discount or lower it just for this one person or, oh, they've been around forever, whatever it is, you are telling your subconscious that you are not worthy of that price. So we really need to raise the standard so that we can feel good about our pricing overall and in general. When clients are telling me they want to raise their price, the first thing that they tend to say is, I want to look at my competitors. I want to look at my competitors. So I give them a rule. I say, fine, you can look at your competitors, but only 3. And after 3, you have to shut it down. You are absolutely not allowed to do any more research than that because the market will tell you all kinds of things. You can find anything at any price point. And so because of this, I made a pricing strategist tool. It is an AI tool, and you can use this tool to flesh out your pricing. It will help you compare. It will help you look at the market. And most importantly, it will help see where you are or are not aligned with your pricing. I'm going to drop the link for it in the show notes. It's such a good tool. I've had coaches who are very good coaches tell me that this AI tool changed the game for them, and now they know where they need to do the work for their pricing. And this tool is going to give you everything that you need to figure out the number, to figure out the pricing. You will walk away knowing the number. And then your job is to do the inner work so that you feel good about that number, so you feel confident about that pricing. So here's my last thought for you about pricing. In your perfect world, if you knew that your clients were going to get the results and you were going to show up 100% exactly how you want to show up, what would the price be? Because when the price is too low, we tend to get lazy. We don't deliver to the extent that we could. And when the price is too high and we don't feel comfortable with it, we are over delivering. We're in this proving energy, which isn't serving anyone either. We want to find the sweet spot. Like, what is the number that feels so good for the value that you're giving and for how you know you can show up? Because if you price yourself too low, you're not going to want to do the work. If you price yourself too high, you're never going to feel confident in the work. But we want to find that sweet spot. So your homework this week is to look at your pricing. Look at what feels good. Look at what's working. Look at what's moving. Look at what you're selling, how you feel about it, and figure out what works and what doesn't. And if there's something that you're iffy about and not feeling good with when it comes to your pricing, download my free pricing strategist. It's such a great tool. And start to play with that number. And the tool will really help you strategize what the best number is for you. And once you've got that figured out, you can really go deep and figure out what are the underlying beliefs I'm telling myself about my prices and how can I shift those so that I can actually feel good, show up, sell, and deliver the way I want to deliver, to have the business that I want. Because ultimately, if your pricing isn't aligned, your business isn't going to be aligned. We all do our work for the money. Aligned pricing is the key that really makes your business feel good. It affects you, it affects your clients, it affects the energy in your business, how you show up and how you are giving into the world, which is so important because that's your impact. That's who you are. That's what you do. That's part of your identity. I would love to hear about what this episode brought up for you. Please reach out on Instagram, send me a DM, shoot me an email, Jillian@jillianmentor.com, and share what the pricing strategist helped you with, what came up for you, and how you're going to use that knowledge to move forward. Thank you so much for tuning into Quantum Wealth, and until next week, happy manifesting. That's a wrap on today's episode. If you're still here, I know you're serious about quantum leaping your income, and that commitment is what separates the dreamers from the doers. Here's what I want you to do next. Pick one insight from today and take action on it. Because here's the thing, transformation happens in the implementation, not just the inspiration. If this episode shifted something for you, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen. It helps other ambitious, heart-centered women find the show. And if you're ready to take this work deeper and finally break through that income plateau, I'd love to invite you to book a discovery call with me. Because here's the thing, podcasts give you the what, but coaching gives you the how. It's what takes you from, I know what I should be doing, to, holy shit, I actually did it. Head to the show notes or to JillianMentor.com to grab your spot on my calendar. Until next week, keep choosing abundance over scarcity, alignment over hustle, and remember, you're meant for more. You just have to believe it's yours.